My name is Michael Turner. I am 32 years old and work as a software architect, focused on improving logistics for construction firms. My family owns Turner & Sons Construction Supply, a well-known regional supplier of building materials based here in Ohio. Life appeared flawless, especially since I was about to marry Emily Collins the following day. This union was not solely based on love, but represented a significant strategic merger between the Turner and Collins families. Emily's relatives owned Collins and Associates Developments, a prominent real estate company, and our primary client. I played a crucial role in modernizing Turner & Sons systems and linking our technology with Collins and Associates. The wedding was intended to secure business connections valued at millions of dollars. If you enjoy tales of cold-blooded vengeance and unexpected plot twists, please like this video and subscribe to the channel now. New and unreleased stories arrive daily, each one more thrilling than the last. I cared for Emily deeply but never overlooked the professional factors in our partnership. My confidence was my greatest asset, yet on that unforgettable night, it also became my biggest weakness. I am a man guided by logic and always plan every move with exact precision. This careful approach was my advantage, but betrayal came from the most surprising place. On the wedding eve, amid the busy final arrangements at the venue, the Hilton Garden Inn in Columbus was my entire world. Everything collapsed in a way I could never have imagined. The rehearsal dinner had just finished. A few hours earlier, I was at the hotel bar chatting with some guests when Andrew Miller, my closest friend since college and the best man at the wedding, joined us. Andrew had always been careless with technology. Being a software architect, this always irritated me. That evening, he left his iPhone unlocked on the table as he went to the restroom. The screen lit up with a message alert, and what I saw sent chills down my spine. It was a message from Emily Collins. The beginning of the preview already seemed suspicious. "Loved what you sent me," it said. My curiosity pushed me to open the entire conversation, and that is when I discovered it. A video Andrew had sent her, an intimate recording of the two of them together in her hotel room. I immediately recognized Emily's room, and the voices were unmistakable, my fiancé and my best friend. My first reaction was to jump up and strike Andrew when he returned. Fury erupted inside me like molten lava. Yet the next moment, a cold and logical voice in my head stopped me. "It is not worth it. Do not ruin your life for people like them." With hands shaking but resolute, I quietly copied the file to my own phone before Andrew came back. When he sat down again, laughing and joking about the wedding the next day, I wore a mask of calm I did not know I had. That video recorded by Andrew would change everything. He had apparently prepared himself for his own agenda. The harsh reality was unveiled by Emily Collins and him meeting just a few hours prior in her hotel room. This was a betrayal of the darkest kind coming from the two individuals I trusted the most. Less than 12 hours before I was to walk down the aisle, my anger shifted into a cold, precise clarity I had never encountered before. My programming mind started devising plans of revenge. I decided to withhold this secret until the altar. My retaliation would be public, devastating, flawlessly executed, and free of any legal consequences for me. Looking back, I recognized the warning signs I had overlooked. Over the past months, I had noticed growing closeness between Emily and Andrew Miller, but I dismissed it as mere friendship and the stress of wedding planning. Conversations that stopped abruptly every time I appeared, looks that now revealed their true meaning, and small touches I once deemed innocent. All of these now had a sinister explanation. My intuition, usually sharp enough to detect the slightest flaws in complex programming, utterly failed to sense this human treachery. Yet, once I uncovered the truth, my strategic mind focused solely on crafting the ultimate revenge. Throughout the night, I smiled, welcomed guests, and expressed my gratitude for their good wishes. Inside, however, I was assembling the most critical delivery mechanism of my life. Instead of software to enhance construction, it would be a system engineered to deliver justice flawlessly. That night, sleep eluded me, while Emily rested calmly, thinking her secret remained concealed. Meanwhile, I labored harder than ever before. Logistics optimization code played a role, but on the most crucial project of my life, the blueprint of my revenge mattered above all. As a programmer, I understood that the success of any system relied on careful planning. Initially, I examined the entire exchange between Andrew Miller and Emily Collins. The conversation history showed it was not their first encounter of this kind. There were at least 3 weeks' worth of compromising texts, including additional videos and photographs. My fiancé and my closest friend had been consistently deceiving me while I was arranging our honeymoon in the Caribbean. I backed up everything to an encrypted cloud storage. Every file, every message, every piece of evidence of their betrayal was now securely in my possession. However, proof alone was not enough. I wanted to create the greatest impact possible. My mind started to devise the ultimate algorithm. The wedding was set to take place at Riverside Gardens, an exquisite venue beside the Scioto River. 200 guests were invited, among them key clients of Turner and Sons and Collins and Associates. The ceremony would begin at 4 in the afternoon, with live streaming for distant family members through Facebook. I built a mass distribution system using my personal server network. I programmed a script designed to send the most revealing video simultaneously to all phone numbers on the guest list. Timing was essential. Precisely at the moment I reached the wedding vows, I dedicated the following hours to rigorously testing the system, confirming it would operate flawlessly. Each attendee received a text message containing a link to watch the video, hosted on a temporary server. I created a dedicated server for this purpose, flawless in its technical and legal aspects. On the morning of the wedding, I woke up with an unexpected calmness. I had breakfast at IHOP, just like every Saturday, browsed the Columbus Dispatch for news, and replied to some work emails. I behaved as if it were any other day because, in a way, it still was for me. Andrew arrived at the hotel around 10 in the morning to help with the final preparations. He was ecstatic, making jokes about married life, and telling me I was fortunate to have found Emily. Every word felt like a sting, yet I managed to smile and nod in agreement. "Man, you look relaxed for someone about to get married in a few hours," Andrew remarked while fixing my tie. "You know me," I said. "I have always excelled at planning. When everything is organized perfectly, there is no reason to feel anxious." He chuckled, not realizing the deeper meaning behind my statement. Just before noon, I received a call from Emily. Her voice was gentle and filled with excitement. "My love, I cannot wait for our ceremony today. It will be the most unforgettable day of our lives," she said. "I agree completely," I answered. "It will be a day that no one will ever forget." She perceived my words as romantic, while I knew it was more of a promise. By 2 in the afternoon, all guests were already heading to the venue. My family, the Collins family, co-workers, and friends from college. Even the governor of Ohio had confirmed his presence due to the Collins family's connections with the local Democratic Party. I performed a final inspection of my system. Everything was in place. Everything was functioning flawlessly. The video had been uploaded. The contact list confirmed the schedule. It was synchronized with my watch perfectly. I had even set up an automatic backup just in case something went wrong. "Are you ready for this, partner?" Andrew asked, lightly patting me on the shoulder. "More than you could ever imagine," I responded, locking eyes with him. We reached Riverside Gardens exactly at 3:30 in the afternoon. The setting was flawless. White and pink flowers adorned every detail. The altar faced the river, with the Columbus skyline providing a breathtaking backdrop. 200 guests, all dressed elegantly, filled the neatly arranged white chairs. Reverend Patterson, who had known us since we were kids, wore a proud smile. My mother was overcome with tears of joy. Emily's father, Robert Taylor, welcomed me with a heartfelt hug. "Officially, welcome to the family, son," he said warmly. "Thank you, Mr. Taylor," I answered respectfully. "I hope our union meets all your expectations." There were 15 minutes remaining before the ceremony when I spotted Emily at the far end of the aisle. She looked magnificent in her Vera Wang gown, which had cost $25,000. Her radiant smile and sparkling eyes reflected pure happiness. For a fleeting second, I almost forgot the purpose of this day. Almost. Then my eyes found Andrew standing beside me at the altar, grinning at the woman he had betrayed me with. My determination grew stronger. The moment was finally here. The plan was set to unfold. The music began playing. Emily took her first steps toward the altar, moving forward to what she believed was the start of our life together. He sensed it would mark the conclusion of everything. He saw Emily arrive at the altar with the most dazzling smile he had ever witnessed. Her father placed her hand in his, tears welling in his eyes. Reverend Patterson opened the Bible and began the ceremony with a prayer. 200 guests observed respectfully in silence. "Dear friends and family," the Reverend started, "we are gathered today to honor the union of Michael and Emily in sacred matrimony." His hands remained steady, and his heart maintained a calm rhythm. Emily grasped his hands and whispered, "I love you, only you." Andrew, standing beside him, held the rings with a proud grin. The ceremony proceeded normally for approximately 15 minutes, including Bible readings and reflections on love and devotion. When the moment for personal vows arrived, the Reverend handed him the microphone. "Michael, would you like to share your vows with Emily?" he asked. Taking the microphone, he realized it was now or never. "Emily," he began, his voice resonating clearly through the speakers, "I have prepared something very meaningful for this moment." She smiled, anticipating words of everlasting love. "Last night, I uncovered a truth that changed everything, a truth that must be shared with everyone here." Her smile faltered as some guests exchanged looks, sensing trouble. "You and Andrew, my best man and closest friend, thought I would never find out." He triggered a script on his phone. Instantly, all 200 guests received an SMS containing a link to the What happened next resembled a digital virus spreading live in front of everyone. At first, a handful of phones started to buzz, followed quickly by dozens more. Within less than a minute, almost every guest was glued to their screens. But here is the ironic part. I continued speaking into the microphone. Michael was kind enough to record everything for me. Panic etched itself across Emily's face like spilled ink. Andrew's complexion turned pale as a sheet. Some guests gasped in disbelief, while others began to whisper loudly. "My goodness," Emily's mother muttered. "This cannot be true," someone in the front row remarked. Emily attempted to grab the microphone from me, but I resisted. "Michael, please, can we discuss this privately?" she begged in a trembling voice. "No, Emily, you decided to keep this a secret. I choose to reveal it openly," I responded firmly. At last, Andrew spoke up. "Man, you do not realize it was only once. It was a mistake." Once I interrupted. The conversation history tells another story. 3 weeks of betrayal, Andrew. 3 weeks of you two mocking me behind my back. The room erupted into chaos. Now some guests stood up, some moving towards the exit, others staying to witness the unfolding drama. Reverend Patterson tried to ease the tension. "Michael, my son, maybe it would be best." "With all due respect, Reverend, I believe this ceremony has reached its conclusion," I said. It was then that Robert Collins, Emily's father, rose from the front row, his face flushed with fury and shame. "This is absurd," he shouted. "We will not allow a simple misunderstanding to ruin years of careful planning. Michael, you are being unreasonable." "Unreasonable," I repeated calmly to Mr. Collins. "I recommend you watch the footage before labeling this a misunderstanding." My mother approached the altar with tears streaming down her cheeks. "Michael, dear, what is happening? I found out that Emily betrayed me with Andrew. I cannot marry someone who shows no respect for me." The Collins family immediately tried to manage the situation. Emily's mother, Patricia, hurried toward the altar. "Please, Michael, accidents occur. Emily is expecting a child. Consider the baby. Think about our businesses. You can get through this." This was the news I had been anticipating. Emily was pregnant, and they were using that fact as a form of emotional leverage. "Fascinating," I stated into the microphone. "So, there is a child involved in this matter." Emily began crying uncontrollably. "Michael, I can provide an explanation." "There is no need to explain," I responded, "but I believe everyone present deserves to know who the father is." Andrew finally broke his silence. "This is insane. You are embarrassing all of us." "I am not humiliating anyone, Andrew. You have humiliated yourselves." I turned back to Emily. "Are you certain about who the father is?" The silence was overwhelming. Emily was unable to answer. Her pause spoke volumes. I proposed that a paternity test be done. "Let's settle this once and for all," I announced publicly. Robert Collins snapped. "That is enough. If you continue to ruin 2 respectable families over jealousy." I replied quietly, "Mr. Collins, I am not ruining anything. I am merely exposing what was already broken." At that instant, Emily collapsed. She sank down right by the altar, crying uncontrollably. "I do not know who the father of the baby is," she admitted through sobs. "It might be Andrew's." The room fell into complete silence, 200 guests absorbing the confession. Andrew stood motionless, unable to react. The Collins and Turner families witnessed their reputations and business partnerships falling apart in real time. I faced the crowd and spoke one final time into the microphone. I apologize to everyone who came here expecting a celebration. Unfortunately, I have learned that I cannot marry someone who does not respect me. Thank you all for being here. Then, I switched off the microphone, slid the ring off my finger, and left it on the altar beside Emily, who was still kneeling, devastated. Andrew tried to approach me, saying, "Michael, we can fix this." I answered firmly, "There is nothing to fix. You made your decisions, now live with their consequences." I walked away from the altar with my pride preserved, leaving behind only the turmoil that the truth had unleashed. I exited Riverside Gardens under the eyes of 200 guests. Some regarded me with sorrow, others with respect, and many with astonishment. None of that mattered to me. I had carried out my plan flawlessly. I drove to my apartment in Short North, calmly packed my belongings, and left Columbus that very night, not to escape, but to begin healing. From the circus I anticipated would follow in the days ahead, as I journeyed across the nation, the fallout from the exposure unfolded precisely as I had foreseen. My assistant Sarah kept me updated through email. The video had spread far beyond the attendees of the wedding, circulating in WhatsApp groups and being shared on Facebook, turning into the talk of Columbus. The paternity examination I had openly proposed took place 2 weeks later. Emily tried to resist, yet the social and familial pressure proved too strong. Robert Collins, attempting to protect what remained of the family's honor, insisted on the test. The outcome confirmed my suspicion. Andrew was the father. Sarah sent me the update by email. "Michael, the test is back. You were right. The entire city is buzzing about it." Taylor and Associates lost 3 major contracts this week as clients refused to be linked to the scandal. I felt no joy in the news. Instead, relief settled in. The truth had won. Throughout my travels across the United States, I reflected deeply on everything. I drove along the Blue Ridge Parkway, explored national parks in Utah, and spent a week in San Diego. Every mile on the road helped me process the betrayal and reconnect with myself. It was in Denver, 3 months after the wedding that never took place, that I reunited with Emily White. She was attending a technology conference where I had decided to give a presentation on optimizing logistics systems. Emily was a software engineer I had known from Ohio State University 15 years earlier. Michael Turner approached me after my presentation and said, "I can hardly believe it is you." Emily Collins had always stood out, intelligent, sincere, and straightforward. During our college years, we shared some profound discussions about technology and life, but there was never anything romantic. I smiled genuinely for the first time in months upon hearing her voice. What a wonderful surprise. That afternoon, we went out for coffee. She did not bring up the wedding controversy, although I was sure she had likely heard about it. We talked about our careers, our lives, and the changes we had experienced since college. "You seem different," she noticed, "more mature, as if you have been through something life-changing." "I have," I confessed. "I learned some difficult lessons about trust and who really deserves a place in your life." Emily smiled and said, "The toughest lessons are always the most valuable." We began to keep in touch regularly through emails, video calls, and messages. After half a year, I made the decision to relocate to Denver. Michael Turner and Sons no longer required my presence in Columbus, since I had digitized nearly all the operations. I could work remotely and concentrate on consulting for other construction firms. Moving was freeing. In Denver, I crafted a new existence alongside Emily. She accepted me for my true self, not the business connections I represented. Our relationship developed naturally, founded on respect and sincere honesty. A year after the canceled wedding, Emily and I were living together. 2 years later, we tied the knot in a small ceremony within Rocky Mountain National Park, surrounded only by our closest friends and family. The families involved showed no signs of drama, betrayal, or secret motives, only genuine love. Meanwhile, in Columbus, the ripple effects for Emily and Andrew kept unfolding. Sarah would share updates with me whenever I inquired. Emily gave birth to a boy who was obviously Andrew's son. They eventually married not because of love, but out of necessity. 2 individuals whose reputations were ruined together by circumstance. Taylor and Associates never fully recovered from the scandal's impact. They lost numerous key contracts, including a $50 million deal with the city of Columbus. Robert Taylor had to sell shares of the company just to keep the business afloat. Andrew lost his position at the marketing firm where he used to work. No respectable employer in Columbus wanted to hire someone linked to the controversy. He ended up being employed in sales at a used car dealership. Meanwhile, my own family, Turner and Sons, thrived without the partnership with the Taylors. Without the political and societal pressures from that alliance, we focused on our strengths, delivering top-quality materials to local construction businesses. Our profits grew by 20% in the year following the canceled wedding. 5 years later, Emily and I welcomed our first daughter, Sophie. 2 years after that, our son Michael was born. We created a strong foundation built on sincere trust and authentic love. Occasionally, when I returned to Columbus to visit family, I would overhear remarks about Emily and Andrew. They still resided in the city, but had become almost like social outcasts. The scandal had left an indelible mark on them. Roughly 6 years after the wedding was called off, I encountered Emily at East Town Center. She was accompanied by her young son, now a toddler. She appeared older, worn out, and defeated. "Michael," she said with clear discomfort. "Emily," I responded politely. After a brief pause, she confessed, I wanted to apologize for what we did. You did not deserve that." "No," I replied evenly. "I did not deserve it, but I also do not deserve to hold a grudge. I hope you have found peace." She nodded, tears welling in her eyes, then turned and walked away. At that moment, I understood that my revenge had been fulfilled, not through what I inflicted upon them, but through what I had created for myself. The best revenge is truly the truth and the freedom to rewrite your story alongside those who genuinely matter. Now, at the age of 40, I live in Denver with Emily and our children. My logistics optimization consulting company supports clients across the country. I am recognized in my profession, have a family that genuinely loves me, and rest peacefully every night. Emily and Andrew's betrayal, which could have broken me, ultimately set me free. It forced me to discover who I truly was when freed from family expectations and social demands. It led me to Emily, the true love of my life. I realized that the most powerful revenge is not about destroying those who hurt you, but about creating something so beautiful and genuine that the betrayal becomes insignificant. Living so well that those who betrayed you become nothing more than a minor detail in the narrative of your joy. Emily and Andrew ruined themselves by their own decisions. I simply revealed the facts and moved forward. They stayed caught up in the repercussions of what they did, while I released myself to pursue a brighter future. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like, share it, and leave a comment to let us know your thoughts. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to subscribe and click the bell to get notifications about new stories like this one. Thank you for watching, and until we meet again.